Good day everyone, Complaining Gamer here. One of the criticisms I've received recently is that I've been too polite for too long and I've not done enough complaining. So let's switch that up right now with a review of the Destiny 2 beta on Xbox. Now, I'm going to keep this short and sweet and cover as many bases as possible. In my opinion, there are two types of reviews. One where the reviewer has spent an exorbitant amount of time for zero return, learning as much as they can about the game, and the other one which is just a quick review based on a gut feeling. In this case, I'm going to go with the latter when it comes to the Destiny 2 beta, and I'm also going to refer to my experience with Destiny 1. One of the first things that I did before making my own review was check out some of the others that are out there just to see what the vibe is for Destiny 2. And one thing that I completely forgot is that the Destiny 2 fanbase is absolute cancer. So what does that mean? That means that regardless of truth or facts or very solid opinion, they're not going to listen. So first up, let me give you my short review of the Destiny 2 beta. And it is shit. It is boring. The immediate trigger response from the fanboys to that kind of opinion is usually something like, you're just shit, or you suck at the game, or something like that. But the thing is, I don't have a problem winning. It's not all about just whether you win or lose in that multiplayer scenario. It's also about if it's enjoyable. Are you having fun? Is there anything new here? One thing I'd like to remind you of is a review is nothing more than a glorified opinion, and we've all got one. So don't be so easily triggered if you disagree with the reviewer. For me personally, in my opinion, the longevity of a game is based in its multiplayer, and this is the biggest issue that I had with the beta and Destiny 1, in fact, is the fact that in Destiny 2, it just feels like exactly the same game. I want to call it Destiny 1.1 because it basically doesn't feel like anything new. It feels old, it feels rehashed, it feels done before. What it feels like is an absolute cash grab. And I should add, this wasn't me playing alone. This was me playing with friends, winning games of Control. Now, this is another thing. In the multiplayer, what you basically have is two game modes, two maps, and a strike. Now, the strike is nothing special, nothing new, nothing original. It's just the same old shit. And one of the game types that they've added, this countdown, is absolute rubbish. Now, it's a kind of a arm the bomb scenario. You have two areas that you can go to arm the bomb, or alternatively you can wipe out the other team. This game type is absolute shit. What it genuinely reminded me of was like a arm the bomb type game type in a James Bond game, something like that. It was so just weak. The execution of Countdown as a game type was so poor, and it didn't fit the Destiny universe in any way. It felt so out of place, and I really hope that they kill that crap. Of course, we have to talk about performance. Now, this is where Destiny is living in the Stone Ages. It is 30 FPS on console. Now, one of the YouTube channels that I like to follow is Digital Foundry, and they do great coverage of many titles, and they really focus on the performance of those games. Now, if you look at the 60 FPS gameplay of Destiny 2 on PC, it literally looks like a completely different game, but of course we're not getting that on console. Now, when it comes to Digital Foundry, I love their content. However, the voices of the presenters, it kind of makes me want to kill myself when I listen to them. Anyway, yes, the performance, it's 30 FPS, and honestly, I was not overly impressed even with the connections. I think Bungie have announced that it's an advanced peer-to-peer, where there's kind of a strange mixture of client-side activity with dedicated server activity. I don't know, whatever the mess is, the hit registration felt like absolute crap to me, to the point where the game was having to catch up with what I'd done. I'd put a bunch of bullets into a person, the life bar hadn't gone down, and then it caught up after. It was really bad. Now, with any criticism like that, I expect some of the replies from the people to be, you're bad at the game, your connection is bad, whatever rubbish people want to come out with. The reality is, I can't really recommend the multiplayer. Now, I haven't played Destiny in quite a long time, so I thought, right, going back to Destiny 2, this is going to be enjoyable, and it just wasn't. I sincerely hope that this game flops because it deserves to. One of the things that made me stop playing Destiny 1 was the fact that all you had was the same missions on repeat. So after the 100th time that you'd done the same thing over and over again, I was done. And then they brought out the DLC that they wanted you to pay for. So not only did they sell you half a game, they then wanted you to pay for the rest. It was just a complete spit in the face of the people supporting the franchise. So one thing that they could have done, in my opinion, to win back some fan favor was similar to what Battlefront is doing, where they're going to give the DLC for free. Now, if they'd done that with Destiny 2, that may have been able to repair some damage. When it comes to franchises rehashing and repeating themselves, it's very, very clear that fans are ready to eat that up every single time. We see that with games like Call of Duty, for example. But at least with Call of Duty, it has it feels like there's a slightly different flavor, whether it's just in the environment or the maps or the guns or the setting. At least it feels a little bit different. This literally feels, in terms of Destiny 2, of course, it literally feels like copy paste. Now, my memory could be a little bit fluid, but the experience actually felt worse to me. Everything was just a little bit, I don't know, slower, a little bit heavier than what I remember from Destiny 1. And that was a word that I heard used from some of my friends. It's a word that I used, and it's also a word that I saw used in the Digital Foundry videos. Apparently the beta build is several builds away from what Destiny 2 is today, and it just begs the question, why even give it to us then? If the game is not really like this in theory, then why even bother? But one thing you should know from experience is that these betas often are the real game. We saw it time and time again with games like Battlefield, where the beta would be absolute ass, and then the initial release of that title was also shocking. But of course, over time, Battlefield was able to fix a lot of those issues. If we talk about some of the things that I did like, the graphics, they were quite good, especially for Xbox One, which we know is very underpowered. Now, the story itself is clearly an area where Bungie have, at least in my impression, invested quite heavily, and that's also what they've said that they have done. And if you play the one mission which is in the beta, it's not bad, you know. They've clearly gone for quite a cinematic approach, and it works quite well. If you played the mission, you know that at the end they've got that kind of Lord of the Rings type named character who does the job. If I were the type of person that had pre-ordered the game and then played the beta, I would definitely cancel my pre-order. On the other hand, I do consider myself able to be objective and view things that are away from my own personal opinion. And if you love Destiny, regardless of what other people say, and you've played the beta and you like it, then who is anyone to change your decision on whether you buy it or not? You love the franchise, you want to support the franchise, you enjoyed the beta, then be my guest, go crazy. Of course, please feel free to open the discussion in the comments section below. I would love to hear your opinions. I mean, I asked a buddy of mine what he thought, and he is a big Destiny fan. And the way he described it to me was a little bit strange. I didn't really understand it exactly. To put things into perspective, I'm from the Halo 2 days. So for me, that was the golden era of online gaming. It really was, you know, for me, that was the best it was ever going to be. If you think Halo 3 was the best Halo, then I'm sorry that you're wrong. But my buddy described Destiny 2 like that. He said it's like the Halo 2 days, and I still don't really get it, but you know, what he was trying to say was that he felt like the overall experience and gameplay balance was in a way similar. As a big Destiny fan, some of his criticisms were that there should have at least been a second story mission, and also the ability to manipulate the character customization, so to actually play around with the armors a bit, but of course your character is basically fixed. And that's another thing that I didn't like. I'm typically a hunter, but the hunter felt absolute cack in Destiny 2. One of the best ways that you can protest bullshit corporate behavior is by not throwing your money at that company. And that's exactly what I did with Destiny 1 when it came to the DLC time. It's like, I'm not paying for the other half of the game, fuck you. And at that point, you know, of course, I've basically stopped playing, probably jumping into a few Crucible matches now and again. Whilst checking out other reviews, I did read some of the comments, namely from fanboys who were literally saying we should be grateful that we have a beta. Now, what a cuck thing to say. Why the fuck should we give any credence to that? Surely it should be the reverse, or at least a mutual reciprocal relationship where the company provides a quality product and you show your support financially. But in this instance, it just feels like the exact opposite. It's more of an insult. The company is just laughing their ass off. They're thinking these plebs are going to pay for any old shit that we throw out there. Okay, long story short, I'm rambling now. I do not see myself buying Destiny 2, and I sincerely hope that you don't either, because the company are taking the piss out of you. They do not deserve your money because they're trying to sell you the same product over and over and over again. Fuck them and fuck the game. My review is as follows: shit multiplayer, good graphics, and the story has some potential. The strikes we have no idea about. We also have no idea about the scope of the game. So there you go, people. Complaining gamer, back to my complaining ways, even if it might just be momentarily. If you enjoyed the video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. If you have an opinion, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to have a discussion with you. Take care, have an awesome day, and I will see you next time.